So you have a company called Gemini. What does it do?
It's a Bitcoin spot exchange. Actually, it's a digital asset exchange for both Bitcoin, and as of last Thursday, we got approval from Governor Cuomo in the state of New York to add Ether, which is another digital asset cryptocurrency.
What does that mean? Not just adding Ether, we'll get to that in a moment, but being a licensed, regulated company.
Sure. It means our compliance, our capital requirements are similar to a bank. So we look and feel, and we have to go through the same procedures that your bank does. So it means we're regulated and we're a safer, secure venue to buy and sell Bitcoin.
Does that mean, because people have accused cryptocurrencies of being a store for, or at least a hideout for, people who want to do things that run afoul of the law. Now that you're licensed and regulated, does that mean you'll share data on accounts and ownership with law enforcement?
So there's going to be situations like any money service business where law enforcement might compel you for certain reasons, but we don't do anything without actual, like a subpoena or something with legal enforcement.
Are there know your customer requirements that you have to comply with?
Absolutely. That's part of being regulated. We have a BSA, a Bank Secrecy Act, and anti-money laundering program that's been vetted by the New York Department of Financial Service, which is the highest bank regulator in the land in New York. So KYC, know your customer, is it's the principle, one of the core principles of our business, and it's spelled out in our user policy as well.
A number of people, bankers included, have talked about the promise of the blockchain technology.
Sure.
But they have, for the most part, distanced themselves from Bitcoin or Ether or other cryptocurrencies as a medium of exchange.
Right.
Can you disentangle one from the other, or are they the same thing?
Well, we think that the open blockchain is very different than some of these bank chains. It's similar to how the internet is what we think the Bitcoin blockchain is like, and versus AOL or CompuServe. That's not really the open internet. It has some value, and I think it will improve the banks and how they settle and whatnot. But we're really not competing for that, and it's a very different space.
How so? Is the things that people will use the blockchain or the Ethereum blockchain to build will be different from, call it, bank-provided services? Right. How exactly?
Well, they're open, so anyone can build on it, just like anyone can build on the internet. You may not be able to build or want to build on JP Morgan's blockchain. They may not be transparent. They may be. They're just different. They're private, right? And so you don't know what's going on in there. Versus an open blockchain, if I send you something on the Bitcoin blockchain, if I send you a Bitcoin, the whole world sees that happen.
Why is there this idea that computers need to talk to each other effectively using a cryptocurrency, or transact with each other using a cryptocurrency, when on securities exchanges around the world, there are all kinds of computer-driven trading strategies that transact in multiple currencies that we know and use every day.
Listen, I think that we're seeing the future of autonomous actors and agents, like self-driving cars and things like that. And you cannot bank a machine, right? A machine can't go to Wells Fargo and get a bank account, but they can get a Bitcoin address and transact as rational economic actors.
And those trades are not settling. So when you buy your share of Apple, it settles in 3 days. A Bitcoin settles at the atomistic level when you actually send it.
Almost instantaneously.
Right, and the same thing with Ether. So when you're dealing when you're buying a cup of coffee or hiring a self-driving car, you can't wait for 3 days for that car to pick you up, or 3 days at Starbucks. That coffee's going to get pretty cold.
Why do you guys describe Ethereum or Bitcoin as tokens, really as options, call options on this technology?
Yeah, so basically the token Ether is used on the Ethereum network. Bitcoin is a token or asset that can be used in the Bitcoin network. If you believe these networks are going to grow and there's going to be lots of demand for them and the space is going to grow, you can, by buying a token or a piece of those, you can effectively bet on the future of the value of the network.
So you're investing, it's like indexing the entire Bitcoin ecosystem or the entire Ethereum ecosystem. Gemini is the only exchange in the world, the first and only, that's actually licensed to buy both Bitcoin or Ether. And so if you want to do it in a license compliant manner, then we're the place to go.
Like the internet, for example, you couldn't, or in the early days, really buy a piece of the internet. You can buy a piece of Bitcoin by buying Bitcoin, or a piece of Ethereum by buying Ether on Gemini.